The content of this podcast is provided for general informational purposes only and is not intended as, nor should it be considered a substitute for, professional medical advice.
Sweaty and pissed. Menopause makes me sweaty and pissed.
Oh, hello.
Hi.
We're here with Sweaty and Pissed, Menopause and More. I'm Leanne Morgan, comedian.
Karen Nickell, nurse practitioner.
Okay, we want to talk about sleep and lack of.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one, isn't it?
It is a big one. Affects everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
And I've gone through a terrible time where I was not sleeping. And I think it hit me around 45.
Mm-hmm.
And I would wake up at 3 in the morning and be awake from 3 to 5.
Yep.
I can go to sleep easy, but I can't stay asleep. And is that something, before we talk about the menopause part of it, isn't that something to do, like when they, like if you've got depression,
Mm-hmm.
you get up at certain times of the night, as opposed to like if you're anxious about something, if it's something temporary. Do people, of what, like some people can't fall asleep.
Right.
And they say that's this.
Yeah.
Then people who can't stay asleep, that's this.
Well, oftentimes people who can't stay asleep, their circadian rhythms off.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting a rise in cortisol too soon. To send that wake message, that's coming too soon. And then a lot of people, it's just a matter of drinking alcohol. When you drink alcohol before bed, you fall asleep really easily, but you typically don't stay asleep. You'll awaken in the night. So some of it is just, lifestyle habits that trigger different sleep patterns.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. Because I didn't care a thing in the world about alcohol all my life.
Mm-hmm.
And something in my 40s, I thought, red wine tastes delicious. And I had never cared about it. It tastes like cough syrup. And Chuck would say, have a glass of wine. And I'd be like, yuck, I don't want that. And I didn't care anything about liquor.
Yeah.
And now I crave a margarita or a glass of red wine. And I have friends that say they do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is that, and you see women on Facebook, you see young mamas, which I hope they get off that wine because nobody needs to be going to play dates and drinking with a bunch of little children. My friends didn't do that, but that's evidently a trend I saw on the Today Show.
Oh.
So they need to quit doing that because that's just going to make them feel bad.
Yeah.
All right. And they got little children 10 too. Now I don't have anybody 10 to. So I like that, but then it makes me feel bad. I know it makes me feel bad and I don't sleep right. But is there something do perimenopausal women start craving red wine?
Well, I think that, first of all, we can get a lot of mood changes with perimenopause and menopause, a lot of irritability, anxiety, depression, mood swings. And I think some of the alcohol use is self-medicating.
Numbing
it up.
Numbing it up.
Yeah.
Which a couple of episodes back we talked about sex and dry vaginas.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's women out there trying to drink to either forget their husband or make it with their husband.
Yeah.
They're thinking, and my husband has always been like, drink, because he thinks that's going to, like I'm in a sorority and that's going to loosen me up. And we're at UT on the Strip in 1983. But really, at this point, it just makes me bloated. I feel like I get gas. I'm like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. And then the next morning, I feel like I have joint pain from it. And I hadn't slept. I wallered in the bed all night and have not slept well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think beyond the lifestyle habit of, or the habit of having some wine or alcohol before bed that can disturb sleep, we also, with the age of the computer and phone and iPad screen, TV, we have too much screen time right before bed.
And all that light and the stimulation and that. And TVs in the bedroom.
Yeah, TVs, that's
Netflix.
bad. Yeah. So, and it's amazing to me how many people fall asleep with the TV on and have the TV on all night.
Oh, I couldn't
don't even know that. I just don't. But, so I think that's part of our sleep problem now is screen time.
So with my little mama, Lucille, who is yummy, when she was going through the change in the 80s, she wouldn't have had sleep because of the screen time, or would she have had sleep problems back then?
Well, the hormonal changes can cause a sleep.
But we just make it worse.
Yeah.
This day and age with all the technology.
Yeah, I think that's why so many people are on sleep medications, because our lifestyle does not promote a normal circadian rhythm. When we live by candlelight or, something before electricity, we went to sleep when it was dark and we got up when it got light.
And worked all day.
Yeah.
Physical work.
And now we
Sit around. And
So
you
don't exercise.
You frail, tiny thing. If y'all could see her in her breeches, you don't. But a lot of people in their jobs,
are very sedentary. Stay up till 11, 12 at night, and you're not falling asleep at the onset of darkness, and you're not awakening on onset of lightness.
We all should. And I felt like God tried to tell me that when my kids were little. He never told me to homeschool them because he knew that they would end up terribly wrong. And Charlie said to me in 6th grade, no offense, but if you'd have homeschooled us, we would have watched Young and the Restless and eaten Cheetos. I said, you're right. We wouldn't have gotten a thing done. He didn't call me to do that, but I felt like he was saying to me, you need to raise your own food. Yeah. You need to raise some chickens. Yeah. These kids don't need iPads and all that, and they need to get out in this yard and run and rip. But mine did run and rip. Mine are at the age in their early 20s where I think that whole technology phone thing, they escaped a lot of that. But right after them is when it got bad. Yeah. Because mine probably didn't get a cell phone till 8th grade. I think we got them one in 8th grade. And it was like a flip. Yeah. And it wasn't all that. So my girls didn't come up in that Instagram, like what little bitty children are having to look at now in bikinis and all that. And then moms on Facebook, all that kind of stuff, which we have to use Facebook. I guess it's there to stay. But everybody starts looking at that mess at night. And you think, why did Sheila get to go to the Bahamas? Yeah. I didn't. Why did so-and-so have a slumber party for her baby and didn't invite mine? Which we need to do a whole episode on how women become buttholes. But anyway, and nobody needs to be doing somebody's baby that way. But anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but I think, me being from farming people, that they did manual labor, and you're working like a dog, and then you go to bed and you sleep. Yeah. I'm probably not doing enough. This Fitbit right here would say, Leanne, you're not doing enough. That's why you're up all night. But anyway, okay, go ahead, my angel.
Well, we have very stressful, complicated lives. And, as Americans, there's some quality of life issues.
We make it harder on ourselves. Yeah.
So a lot of people have difficulty either falling or staying asleep or both when they have a lot of stress and anxiety, and you end up with a lot of mind racing when you're trying to go to sleep, or you wake up in the middle of the night and you're immediately problem solving in your head, so so much of our lifestyle does not allow us to calm down, slow down.
It's making us sick.
Yeah, and you've got to give yourself some time. You've got to develop a sleep hygiene that promotes the ability to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Do you not have a television in your bedroom?
No. No
you
television.
do everything right.
Well, no, I don't.
Okay, well, I feel like you do. All right, so
I do that one right, I guess.
So what is your routine?
So,
can you shut off from having to tend to 4,000 people? Can you shut off all that?
Yeah, I can.
Good.
But I do go to bed too late because I have long days. So I go to bed too late. But, when you work 12-hour days, you're pretty tired by the end of the day. So I don't have trouble falling asleep. And
Staying asleep.
I don't have, on occasion, if I'm really worried about something, I'll have trouble. But for the most part, I go to sleep and
You exercise
Mm-hmm.
so many times a week, and you eat pretty well.
pretty well.
Do you drink alcohol much?
Yeah, I drink wine. Mm-hmm.
But not every day, or do you?
I probably have a glass of wine when I get home. Mm-hmm.
Is that what time? Because it doesn't disturb your sleep.
No, probably about 8 p.m., maybe 8 o'clock. It's about when
Do
I
you
get
try
home.
to get an organic wine?
I don't. Whoops. There's my. See,
That's
you
your
were
fault.
determined to find it. There it is.
I did. Well,
Ding,
Karen,
ding, 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 ding.
I know, I'm shocked. You need to go to Whole Foods and get some of that no sulfites or whatever they
Yeah,
are.
I do. So my nose doesn't get stopped up.
Oh, that's it causes that.
Mm-hmm.
Inflammation, too, in your body?
Mm-hmm.
Does
That
that?
might be why your joints sort of hurt in the morning.
I went to a wine party one time.
Yeah.
And you sell Tupperware, but it was wine. And they can ship it to your house. And I thought, I don't, like a case. And if you join this wine club, I thought, I don't need to get on that. I got enough problem. But all of it came from California, and it was sulfite free.
That's
None of
nice.
it had, I know. So it was all, pretty clean.
Yeah.
But I thought, I don't need to get hooked on this. I'm already hooked on white flour and sugar. I don't need to get hooked on alcohol. And then,
Sulfites or no.
yeah, and walk down the street with my bra on the outside of my clothes. But okay. So, all right. So when I started not sleeping
Yeah.
well, you were tending to me for my adrenal fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
So adrenal fatigue's a big one that can get people out of.
Right. So your cortisol that's secreted from your adrenal glands is our chronic stress hormone, but it also regulates our wake-sleep pattern. It's what we call a diurnal hormone. It fluctuates during the course of the day. It's highest at 8 a.m., so you get up, get going, have energy for the day, and it gradually comes down throughout the day and then should be at the lowest at 2 a.m. So you're sleeping, and then it gradually rises again to the highest at 8 a.m., so on and so forth. So a lot of women who are in perimenopause or menopause already have some female hormone imbalance. So that hormone imbalance can influence your adrenal hormone secretion, and just all the symptoms that we've been talking about with perimenopause is a stress on the body, and
Yes.
that chronic stress can end up making our adrenal glands not as functional as we would like. So it's not that they can't make cortisol, but maybe they do it in a dysfunctional pattern, like low during the day and high at night. So you're dragging around all day, and then you can't sleep at night.
I was miserable.
Yeah. So
Okay, I was doing that, and it was awful. And falling asleep, like dangerous, kind of, during the day, maybe
Yeah.
driving.
yeah,
Okay, so you helped me by doing adrenal
just
supplements.
some supplements just to support the adrenal gland,
You get 'em
just
over the
to get
counter.
it so it functions better. There's supplements like also that I use. One is phosphatidylserine, and it's often abbreviated PS. P as in Peter, S as in Sam, and that is an amino acid that's just in our body, but when we take it as a supplement at bedtime, it can help keep that cortisol down. If you're dealing with a spike at night, it helps keep that cortisol level down. Plus, it has the advantage as a great brain amino acid, so it helps with brain function. So that's a plus as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you can help adjust that pattern to a normal cortisol pattern by doing some supplements like vitamin C, pantothenic acid, biotin, and then if needed, the phosphatidylserine at bedtime, and then just again lifestyle changes. you got to work on the stress in your life and exercising. And sometimes people, when they are really not secreting cortisol well during the day, you do need to do some extra care for yourself. Instead of doing high intensity exercise, you should do things that are more meditative, like yoga and
mind body.
Yeah, just lower impact. Not as aerobic. When you're trying to just do some corrective stuff. When you're feeling better, we want you to
bust a move.
Yeah, exactly.
But until then, yes, try to get because all that, I think, if you're not ready for that, and you're not in a good place for that kind of stuff, like HIIT and CrossFit, all those things
like that
just
90
make you crazy.
Yeah, like 90 PX. I don't know that that's so much in favor anymore, but boy, there was a time period when I had so many patients doing 90 PX, which is really intense.
Yeah, and that just kind of messes with you when you're not in a good place.
Right.
Okay.
Right. I mean, if you feel well and you do that exercise and you feel well afterwards, that's all good. But there are people who are have some adrenal dysfunction tend to feel worse after an intensive exercise regimen. So if you're feeling worse, or you feel like you finished your exercise and you need to go home and take a nap, that's a sign that you need to change your type of workout. Yeah, for sure.
And maybe take a little stroll.
Yes,
through the woods, and see butterflies, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So, so definitely getting those patterns corrected will help us sleep, for sure.
Yeah. Okay, we talked about when you first saw me, I was in the adrenal thing and fatigue, and you put me on a supplement regimen. Yeah, that was 2 or 3 things.
Yeah, that was the vitamin C and pantothenic acid and biotin. I think we might have done some phosphatidylserine. But I think
that's when I went downhill. Before that, I was exercising and felt good and had, drive in my career and could get things done and knew what my name was. Very quick-witted. Then, after that, or during that, all that, I did not feel like exercising. I could not hold my head up.
Yeah.
And then I went on to gain weight.
Yeah.
And foggy thinking. So I know that and then I was right at the time of perimenopause. Lord, it was just
you had a lot
nightmare.
of things going at once.
Thyroid, low thyroid. But all that, instead of me, I felt so guilty because I thought I should be out here doing a boot camp. And I just did not have it in me.
Yeah.
And you were saying when we were not recording that, it is people, it's so hard for them to get in a bad place and they can't turn it around.
Right. Yeah. When we don't feel well, we do more things that make us feel worse. If we're tired and we don't sleep, we tend to snack on
things thinking you'll get energy or
drink Red Bull or whatever that's energy drink to try to, what you're trying to do is replace what your adrenal gland should be doing for you. You're adding stimulants to get through the day. And
do you crave carbs and things worse?
A lot more,
which are making you feel terrible,
and you don't feel well, so you don't exercise. So part of a big chunk of the goal when I see people is to get them started on a regimen where they feel better, and when they start feeling better, they do more things that make them feel even better.
Yeah.
So they will feel energetic enough to start some exercise. It's just hard to implement really healthy lifestyle changes when you don't feel like you have emotional or energy resources. When you just feel drained. It's just hard.
Because I can remember, and this just popped in my head. I remember asking you something about a diet because, I was always wanting to go on a diet, but I never could follow through. But anyway, I was asking you about when everybody was going through injecting the pregnancy hormone.
The HCG diet.
And I was like, should I do that? And you were like, you know what, Leanne? I don't think you're at a place right now where you can tackle that. I just think that's a lot. And you were right. I could not have tackled that to take it, 3 shrimp somewhere and eat them and 5 strawberries. I would have freaking, lost it.
Yeah.
Well, no, I would have gone to bed. I would have found a good Netflix deal and I'd have gone to bed. But you're right. I couldn't have tackled that at the time. So,
it's 500 calories a day. So,
oh Lord,
it's a pretty intense regimen for people.
And while we're on that, real quick, you just suggest to people eat whole foods. Just eat whole foods. I remember you said to me, Leanne, just eat lean meats, fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Nuts, berries, and seeds. When you said that to me, I thought, well, she thinks that I am but I am. It was so hard for me to not, I could not, that is so easy, but yet nobody does it.
Yeah. We have too many processed things, processed choices. Even when people are eating gluten-free, they'll run out and buy a lot of
gluten-free cookies.
Yeah. Processed gluten-free things.
Tates,
it's just not.
Cookies, so good.
Which is not the goal. But I mean, I'm not saying you can never have gluten-free pasta or whatever, but it's the fewer ingredients in a food, the better. I mean,
and probably in our wine. And so so does food have does that do anything to our sleep? Shouldn't eat late at night.
Yeah, that's
because you dream horrible things.
Well, and it's your body's working on digestion when you're trying to sleep, and it's it worsens reflux, and it's not good to eat late at night.
Oh, and I miss reflux.
Yeah.
So and everything just gurgles up. Mine's been better though, but you've had to deal with that with me. Good Lord, what have we not done?
See the challenge. The challenges. But yeah, so you don't want to eat late. You don't want to drink late at night. You don't want to eat late. You also don't want to drink a lot of liquids late. I mean,
because you'll be up all night.
Yeah, exactly. You're getting up to go to the bathroom, and that will trigger wakefulness. So
try to get all your water in.
At least before 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Nothing after 8 p.m. Some people have to do a little earlier than that.
Yeah.
But
get all electronics out of your room at night. I try to tell my kids, don't use your phone as an alarm clock. Get an alarm clock. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Charlie had a John Deere one. Screw up. Get the alarm clock from LLB, wherever it is. And you don't need all that because I catch mine. They'll look at stuff. I'm up all night because I'm perimenopausal, walking the floors, urinating. And so, now think, what's that like from, and it's they got a text or, that ding
and they're
wakes
looking
them
at
up.
it. They're looking at that in the middle of the night. Very rarely,
but every once in a while, they are.
Yeah.
And so I'm saying, let's all plug this up.
Yeah. Yeah, you gotta, do some reading before bed, take a hot bath, drink some sleepy time tea.
Yeah, put some lavender in the bathtub.
Yeah, you've got to just establish a healthy routine of slowing down before you get in the bed, rather than go, and then jump in the bed.
Yeah.
So you have to prepare your body for sleep.
And it needs to be cool at night. Boy, has this been a fight.
Yeah.
Because Chuck goes, you are freezing me to death. But I'm in perimenopause, sweating, doing, and not so much now. I'm good now. I'm not sweating as much at night. But I don't like to be hot at night.
Yeah.
And the sleep experts say to have your room cool.
Right. And, a lot of people need a fan, which I think is great and fine, but I also have just a little tip. There's a lot of women, if they're complaining of dry eye, which can happen with menopause, a ceiling fan or a fan just blowing on your face can cause dry eye, because lots of times our eyes aren't completely closed when we're sleeping, and the fan will dry out your eyes.
So everything's just dry. Dry hair.
It's a desert out there.
I know. Dry skin, dry doings, dry eyes.
Dry mouth.
Oh, murder.
I know. Yeah. So there's some supplements that can help with sleep. I'll just briefly name some of those. Of course, everybody thinks about melatonin, which typically by itself isn't so beneficial, but if you use it in combination with valerian root, GABA, B6 helps, but you don't want to take over 100 milligrams of B6, magnesium. And there are supplements out there that combine all those. So you don't have to have
Yes.
8 bottles of something.
Yes, because you're right. I've done just melatonin. But if I get one of those, it's got the GABA, valerian root, all that in it.
Yeah, there's one product called Power to Sleep PM that has all that. And I think it also has L-theanine in it, which is an amino acid that's very calming.
I was going to ask about that because that's a good one.
It's a good supplement. So anyway, it tends to, these natural things tend to work better in complement, where there are several things together. But that's a good over-the-counter supplement to try if you are having trouble sleeping.
And there's yoga moves, right? That you can do. Like you can, well, then you'd have to get on YouTube to watch them.
And
but there's poses that help with sleep.
Yeah. And I think too, when you're menopausal, one supplement that can really help is evening primrose oil at bedtime. That's another good one. Gosh, Leanne, we're out of time again.
Oh, my darling.
How does that happen? Before we end, I do want to give a shout out to one of our listeners, username Vol Nelson. This is an iTunes review. She said to us, thank you from Nashville, Tennessee. Keep up the good work.
Yay! She's in the UT nursing program. She's a graduate of the UT nursing. She must be a smart sister.
Yes. Thank you for that review. Appreciate it. And
how wonderful.
Yeah. And if you have an opportunity to go to your Apple Podcast and iTunes and give us a review, 5 stars would be preferable.
We'd be very tickled and we could sleep at night.
Yeah, exactly. Help our sleep, will you? And we love to hear from you, and we'll be able to give you a shout out if you give us a message. And you can also message us on Facebook.
Yeah. If you've got a topic you'd like for us to cover,
let us know.
Or a question.
Yep.
For sweet Karen, who is brilliant. And we've got all that social media stuff. LeanneMorgan.com, Instagram, Facebook.
SweatyandPissed.com.
SweatyandPissed.com. Yeah.
We're eminently findable.
But don't look at it before 7 o'clock. I mean, after 7 o'clock at night.
Stay away from your screen.
We want you to sleep.
We'll see you next time.
Okay.
Thanks, Leanne.
Thank you, my doll.
Bye.
Sweaty and pissed.